Let's just say the Hofstra Pride are alive and well. After losing to Elon by 26 points on Thursday at home, the Pride came out and absolutely dominated William and Mary 83-67 here at the Mac Arena. They're led by Omar Silverio, who had 20 points on 5 makes from behind the arc. And head coach Speedy Claxton says when Omar Silverio gets going, it allows the rest of the offense to simply flow. Yeah, that's right, guys. When you think about an X Factor, there's no better answer than Aaron Estrada. He's coming off a career-high 35 points against James Madison just 2 nights ago, and he's been really getting the praises of the coaching staff. His 35 points really taught the coaching staff that they don't have to rely so much on Jalen Ray and Zach Cooks to be the leading scorers, considering the fact that they've been battling injuries all year long. With Aaron Estrada being that go-to guy in an overtime matchup against JMU, he's expected to really take that next step against UNCW today in what is a huge CAA matchup and potentially lead Hofstra to the victory. Remember, the CAA, they're a conference that is accustomed to having only one team in the NCAA tournament, and that is usually the winner of the CAA tournament. So if Hofstra wants to make a run here, the coaching staff has been saying that Aaron Estrada has to be the go-to guy. And then, of course, we go to Jalen Ray. He did start last game against JMU, but that was the first time in 6 games that he was in the starting 5, dating all the way back to early January. And even then, it wasn't all peaches and cream. He went 3 for 11 from the field with only 8 points. So that tells you that Jalen Ray is still getting his legs under him. He's still getting used to being back in the starting rotation, and that has really been the problem for this Hofstra Pride squad, guys. Hofstra has not had a consistent starting lineup, and that's going to prove detriment when it comes to the CAA tournament next month. So right now, they're trying to get everybody healthy. They try to make sure everybody's good to go, especially down the stretch, starting with today against the first place UNCW Seahawks. Guys, thanks so much, guys. Consider it an all-star game, not in the NBA or NHL, but between police officers. The best police officers from Nassau County and Suffolk County squared off today, and not in a game of checkers or chess or dodgeball, but on the hardwood. You can see the emotion from Matthew Vowinkle on that second goal. He told us after the game that was the culmination of blood, sweat, and tears from pouring everything he has into this Hofstra Pride program for the past 5 seasons. The first place Hofstra Pride, it has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? And it's certainly a fitting title for the Pride after defeating James Madison 1-0 here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium. It was senior day for the Pride, and it came in a match that was pegged as the biggest one in the CAA so far this year. But the deciding moment came in the 71st minute when Ryan Carmichael crossed the ball into the box to Matthew Vowinkle, who got ahead on it to give Hofstra the deciding lead in this match. And considering it was senior day, Matt, how does it feel to score in your final home match ever for Hofstra? Coming up on Yaw on Sports, the landscape of the NFL shifted dramatically. Deshaun Watson is going to Cleveland, how the deal got done, and what the outlook is for the Browns this upcoming season. Plus, a blockbuster trade in Green Bay. Devontae Adams is heading to Las Vegas. What does the future hold for both the Packers and Raiders? And that is just the beginning of the latest quarterback news. Tom Brady is back, Russell Wilson is a Bronco, and Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay. But how does all of this news impact the league going forward? Well, that is what we're here to discuss, and I hope you can keep up, because it's Yaw on Sports. Let's go. New York fell to Brooklyn 111-106 in the Garden after leading by 28 points. It's New York's largest blown lead in a loss over the last 3 decades. The Nets' comeback was led by rookie Cam Thomas, who scored 16 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter, including a dagger 3-pointer with under 8 seconds left. And for the third time in less than 2 weeks, the Knicks blew a lead of 20 or more. A peacock and a Tar Heel walk into a room or onto a court. Welcome into sports. I'm Yaw Bonsu. Bad joke, sure, but after all, that is what we're dealing with here. The Peacocks of St. Peter's and the Tar Heels of North Carolina, a matchup no one could have predicted, and now that's our reality. St. Peter's and USC met in the Elite Eight with a trip to the Final Four on the line, as well as a chance to send Coach K home in his farewell tour. And while the matchup made for a good story, believe me, the game was anything but. UNC took down St. Peter's 69-49 in the Elite Eight to end this year's Cinderella story. Armando Bacot had himself a day, putting up 20 points and even more rebounds, 22 to be exact. UNC marches on to New Orleans to face Duke in the Final Four. The two rivals have never met in the NCAA tournament, and Saturday will mark matchup number 100 overall.
Jersey City, stand up, let's go! Stand up, let's go, let's go, let's go!
This year's Cinderella story is not done yet.
None of it would have been possible without everybody here. So shout out to y'all, thank you!
The St. Peter's Peacocks celebrating their historic March Madness run with the parade through Jersey City. The parade included bands and high schools from across the area making their way towards St. Peter's University, and along the route, residents of all ages showing their Peacock pride. The energy echoing across the entire city to fans both young and old with the message that they will never forget.
Don't let nobody tell you you cannot do it. Don't let nobody tell you that you cannot do it.
The Peacocks are the only 15th seed ever to make it to the Elite Eight, earning them a place in Jersey City history.
You captured the country's hearts and minds, and we are thankful for that. And to Shaheen, we have a proclamation, so as long as St. Peter's is here and as long as Jersey City is here, today will be memorialized as officially a day that we recognize the Peacocks as the best Jersey City has to offer. Thank you all.
In Jersey City, I'm Yaw Bonsu.
Let's go Peacocks!
You were writing this book at a time where there was a bunch of speculation surrounding whether or not Giannis would stay in Milwaukee. So how stressful was it for you to, figure out how to finish a book about somebody who you didn't even know where the next chapter of his career would take him?
No, I know. It was so stressful. I was like, okay, I have no idea how to end this book right now. Because which is not a good sign. When I signed up for the book, it was March 2020, and so I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about the end part. I have no idea. I can't control that. But, in December when he announced that he was staying, I was like, okay, thank God, because it's like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get as close as possible to that, him announcing that he's staying at the end. So,
and flashing back to March of 2020, before signing your book deal, you did go to Milwaukee to talk to youngest brother Alex and Pieper at Pfizer Forum, but then the world shut down. I know you were scheduled to go to Greece, but then that turned into 221 interviews from your apartment. So walk me through that adjustment of waking up at 6 a.m. to contact sources in Greece and then finding even more people who knew Giannis and his family.
So we have a coffee machine in there, and there's just a lot of caffeine consumed. But no, yes, I was like, damn, this is, going to be the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do, but was also, I guess, encouraged by the fact that I knew how lucky I was, like the world is just being destroyed by this awful pandemic. And I was fortunate to have a job. And so I just was like, all right, you're so lucky. Put your heart into this. And I actually loved interviewing the people from Greece. It was, I became a morning person. I was not, but like I mentioned, the caffeine, I became one. And it was just so cool to hear the pride in their voices. When you ask these people about Giannis, they beam and they ask, do you need anything else? Not because of me, but because of him. When you interview 221 people that all say really positive things about someone, it's safe to say that, he is beloved.
Will and Blake, thank you guys so much. You can feel the excitement in the nation's capital as the second round of the CAA tournament prepares to tip off. Of course, Hofstra's previous trip to Washington, D.C. ended in an automatic bid to the big dance. Can the Pride take a step forward towards its second CAA title in program history? Well, we will find that out at the bottom of the hour. Welcome into Hofstra Pride pregame. I'm your host, Yaw Bonsu. Tonight, third-seeded Hofstra looks to make it trip number 4 in a row to the CAA tournament semifinals. But before we dive deeper into that matchup, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WRHU Sports for updates and highlights from tonight's matchup. And there are a couple ways to listen in tonight. You can turn your dial to 88.7 FM, but if you're in a rush or on the go, you can tune in on the WRHU app or WRHU.org. Tonight, standing in Hofstra's way is the number 6 seeded Cougars of Charleston. The two teams faced off twice this season, first back in late January. It was a 76-73 victory for the Pride that came down to the final play.
Underwood crosses half court, 4 on the clock, gives it to Meeks, right wing 3, not even close. The clock expires. A huge win that the Pride really had to earn, and boy did they get it on the road at TD Arena. The Pride defeat the College of Charleston 76-73. Aaron Estrada with another brilliant performance.
The win brought Hofstra to 5-2 in conference play before February, but let's talk about Aaron Estrada, Mr. Mid-Range, for a second. 30 points versus the Cougars in that matchup continued what has been a magical season for the Oregon transfer. He cut up the Cougars again for 28 points in Hofstra's regular season finale.
Burgess to inbound the ball from his own baseline, trying to find an option, and finally gets it into Estrada. A wide open left wing 3, bang! Aaron Estrada doing it again! He hits the 3, and Hofstra's up 6.
Listen, if that doesn't tell you the type of season Estrada is having, I do not know what will. But remember, Estrada averaged only 3 points per game a year ago for Oregon. But this season, there was certainly no shortage of buckets. Headman Speedy Claxton had one word in mind to describe Estrada's performance versus the Cougars.
Unbelievable. On a night where Cooks and Jay Ray didn't have it going, we needed him in a big way, and he definitely stepped up for us. In my eyes, I'm going to say he's the player of the year. The kid's been unbelievable for us all year, and hopefully it continues.
All right, so let's do a little trivia here. Head coach Speedy Claxton is A, a prophet, B, a genius, C, someone who should play the lotto, but instead he is D, all of the above. Why? Because it was only 2 nights ago when Estrada was officially named CAA Player of the Year. The Jersey native led the conference in points, dimes, and free throw percentage, and Estrada also becomes the 4th Hofstra player to win the award in 7 years, joining Lauren Stokes, Charles Jenkins, Joanya Green, and Justin Wright Foreman. Not too shabby of company if you're Estrada. But to him, this award was more of a team effort than anything.
I'm not really an individual award type of guy. First I'm going to thank my teammates, thank my coaches, my family for just being there, supporting me the whole way. And I also want to thank myself, too, because I also put in a lot of work throughout the offseason, throughout December, January, just the whole season. I've been putting in a lot of work behind the scenes, so I'm happy for myself.
Always got to thank yourself as well. But don't get me wrong, Aaron Estrada has had himself a fantastic season, but it was not all peaches and cream. Estrada notched only 11 points per game in his first 5 outings, but he says it was just a matter of adapting to a new environment.
I improved a lot. I don't know about most improved, but I would say I improved a lot. Just because coming in, I wasn't really playing to my full potential. I was still getting comfortable with everybody, still getting used to everybody. So that's just, that just comes with the game. When you're around a new group of guys, you got to get comfortable with everybody. You got to get used to everybody. Playing on a new team, playing in front of new coaches, getting used to the fans here at the MEC. So I feel like once I got comfortable and I locked in, I feel like that's when I really started to shoot the ball way better.
Estrada turned that slow start into a 7-point increase in his scoring average. We'll see if he can continue his hot season at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Hofstra Pride pregame only on 88.7 FM WRHU. Coming up, we take a deeper look into the Charleston Cougars and who can possibly pounce on the Pride tonight. Stay tuned.